Hey everyone, my name is Matthew. I have a game coming out on Kickstarter at the end of this month called Mind Your Business. It plays 1 to 4, and I'm going to do a solo playthrough of the game just so I can show the solo community what this game's all about. It does play 1 to 4 as I said, but my favorite game mode is the solo game mode, which scales in difficulty as well. There will be content creators releasing videos that I'm sure will be much better than mine, but I'm just doing this to give everyone a little glimpse at the game and some more information about it. Hey everyone, what you're seeing here is Mind Your Business set up for a solo game mode. Currently this is a game mode against the environment, which are these cards, and also goblins. This is the second level of difficulty for the solo gameplay. And before we get into all that, I'll explain how the game works, what everything is, and we'll go over it. So, in Mind Your Business, you're playing as a magical gnome. I'm playing as Cecile Cyan this game. This is a prototype, don't forget. But with that said, what we're trying to do is to collect as many resources within the mine as possible. The game has 3 different resource types. I'll go over those quickly. This here is multicolored, is gems. This here, the dark bluish color, is coal, and then the yellowish color here is gold. For purposes of this game, all the resources have the same value. 1 card is 1 point. With that said, what we're trying to do is build long chains of the same resource type, so when we do collect them into our cart, we get more at one time, which gives us more points at the end of the game. But before we get into that, I'll go over what a turn looks like for a player in solo mode. Phase 1 of your turn, you get to take 3 actions. Those 3 actions can be to move, that would be 1 action. 2, 3, I could move 3 times on my turn. Other abilities that I can do are called rotate. So for instance, I could move here for 1 action, and then I could rotate this for a 2nd action, and now I have 2 chains of gold resource that are connected here because of that movement. So that's a way of manipulating the board to try and get the resource chain to be longer of the same type. Another ability you can do, if I was here, is called swapping. You can swap the card you're on with anything adjacent to it. So, for instance, I could swap these 2 cards if I wanted to. And when you swap, you stay on the card that you're swapping. It's important to note that. And to go back to the rotate action, when you're rotating, it has to be the card that you are on. The other action you can do is called load cart. So when you have that long stream of resources that are pointing into your cart, you can say load cart. For instance here, this would only collect 1 because it's just 1 stream of gold. And then it would go onto my cart. But if I had rotated this and then I said load cart, it would have collected both of those, which would have been better for me because getting more than 1 card at a time is obviously good. When you do load your cart, you don't have to be anywhere near it when you say load. I could be across the board and say load the cart, and it will still load the cart. The other action that you can do besides load cart is called change camp. So, again, we're magical gnomes in a magical mine with magical fires. So, how I just showed you the swap and rotate abilities, you can actually do that with any card that has a campfire on it. So I could rotate this without having to be on it, or I could swap it without having to be on it. So I'm across the board and I can still manipulate these cards with the campfires on them. There is one other ability you can do, which is called reveal eaten card. So when you're playing against a goblin, he will sometimes flip over cards. When you are adjacent to them or on top of them, you can do the reveal action, which it allows you to flip the card back over and face it any way that you want. So those are the actions you can take on phase 1. Again, there's 4 phases in your turn. So after you take your 3 actions, if you end your turn on a spot that has a sign like this one, it says +2 move, I could read the sign and optionally do that ability. So I could then move 2 more spaces. In another scenario like here, this sign says jump to camp or corner. And what that means is I could jump to any unoccupied corner on the map or any unoccupied campfire on the map. It's a way to get around the board a little bit quicker without having to use all your actions to move somewhere. This one allows you to get a bonus load action, so how you only normally have 3 actions on your turn. If you finish your turn here, you can get a free load, and what the with wild means is one of those cards, one of the resources in that chain, doesn't have to match. So for instance, right here is gold, and then it goes to coal, so normally it would stop at the gold and just collect the gold. But if I load it from this sign, it would collect both of these resources, because this coal would act as wild. So that's how that works. After phase 2, which is read the sign and optional, you can then move on to phase 3, which is move the cart. The cart will progress 1 spot every time of the game until it reaches back here. So it's going to go completely around the board once. After phase 3, we then refill the mine. So if we took any of these cards out of the game by collecting them, for instance, we would then refill the mine from the mine deck. And when we do that, we always fill from left to right, top down, from your perspective. So I would fill here, and I would fill here. It's important to note when you're doing this, you're not picking the way that you want the card to face. You just flip it over, and however it falls is how it falls. After you refill the mine, it'll then be the Goblin's turn. And the way the Goblin's turn works is I will flip over a card, and then the card tells me exactly what the Goblin's going to do. And the way this works is it says, gems. Is the Goblin on gems? You look at the Goblin and the card it's on. Yes, it is on gems. So we would default to the equal arrow. And what this is telling us is to swap the card that the Goblin is on with the one above it. So we'd go like that. And then to move up as well. There's a guide that tells you what all these icons are. I obviously know them, so I can just tell you what they do. If we got this card and, for instance, we were here with the Goblin, it says gems. Is the Goblin on gems? You look over. No, the Goblin's on coal. What we do there is we default to the doesn't equal. And what this is telling us to do is to rotate the guard and then to move down 1 space. As long as you can do one of the icons in these boxes, conclude the Goblin's turn. You don't have to be able to do both. If for any reason you can't ever do both abilities, you default to the X. And then you would do that ability, and if you can't do that ability, you do the default, which is to move towards the gnome, which is the icon of this gnome hat. So, for instance, if the Goblin ate a card and it was like this, it would automatically default to the X because there is no resource. It can't equal or not equal a resource type because it just doesn't exist in that scenario. I would then default to here. And what this is saying is any card with gems on it would face the way that the Goblin is. So that card would go that way. If I couldn't do that, I would just move up 1 towards the gnome. When my cart comes to here, it's going to cross this event card. I will flip it, and then I will do what it says. Normally, there's like a sinkhole, and a portion of the board has to be redrawn or something along those lines. The only other thing to note are these one-time use abilities here. This one allows you to not move the cart. So you know how your cart moves after every turn? I could play this and my cart will stay in place. I might want to do that because it allows me to build out a chain longer, or I need 1 more turn to do something that I really want to do with the cart. This one is +2 actions. How I normally have 3 actions on a turn, I would now have 5 actions. It's also important to note that these are free to use abilities. They do not cost an action to use. I could use all 3 of them at once. I could use 1 on a turn, 2 on a turn. It's really up to me. And the last one is swap location adjacent to cart. So the way this works is it's kind of like a teleport back to your cart faster. So for instance, if I was on this card, I could then use this card by flipping it over. And what I do is I swap it with the location that I'm currently on with the location in front of my cart. That's a good way to get back to your cart faster, or actually grab a piece on the board that you could use to create a really good path or something like that. All right, so it's my turn and I'm going to start gameplay. It's phase 1, so I'm going to take my 3 actions now. I'm going to move here. I'm going to rotate this card. And then I'm going to collect for my 3rd action. So these 2 cards will go underneath my cart. I then go to phase 2 of my turn, which is read the sign. I'm not on a card with a sign, so I go to phase 3, which is move the cart. The cart moves. I now go to phase 4. We refill the mine. Okay. And then phase 5, it's the Goblin's turn. On the first round, the Goblin just wakes up and joins the board. But it is important to note, Goblin hates fires. So as soon as it steps on the fire card, it turns it over. So yeah, he's already messing up the board. With that said, he will have a full turn after my next turn. So it's now my second turn, and I'll go through those phases again, and I'll walk you through what I'm doing as I do them. So, I'm going to move here. I'm going to swap these, and then I'm going to rotate. No, I'm going to move here, actually. That was my 3 actions. I now go to phase 2, read the sign, move 2. I'm going to move here. I could link these signs, and then I could jump to a camp corner, or a corner or a camp, but I'm not going to do that. Again, it's 2 movement, but it's up to 2 movement. And again, these signs are optional, so I will optionally use one of those moves to go here. Phase 3, we're going to move the cart. Phase 4, refill the mine. There's nothing to refill. And phase 5, it's the Goblin's turn. We'll have an actual turn right now. So we flip over the Goblin's card. Again, we have to default to the X because it's on a card that is turned over. And what this is saying is any coal needs to face where the Goblin is. It's already doing that. What I will do is default to the move close to the gnome. I'm going to say that it goes up, and it's going to put out this campfire again. Now it's back to my turn. All right. So I'm hoping this works how I want it. I'm going to swap this. I'm going to move here. I'm going to rotate this. And that's 3 turns. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Don't Move Cart card. So my cart will stay in place. And that's going to end my turn. There's no sign for me to read. The cart's not going to move because I played my card. And there's nothing to refill, so now it's the Goblin's turn again. And what this is saying is it on gold? It's not, so it's going to default to the X. And this is just saying it's going to move upward, which I'm okay with. So now I'm going to move here for 1 action, rotate for a 2nd action, and for a 3rd action, I'm going to collect all 5 of these gems. So that was a pretty good pickup for me, and it did take me like 3 turns to make that happen though, but that's the point of this game. Sometimes you have to think further ahead in the game and a few turns in advance. So I moved, rotated, and collected. That is my 5 actions. There's no sign to read. The cart will in fact move now, and I am going to refill the mine. Before I refill the mine, I just want to explain something also that's kind of cool about the game. If I collect it first on my turn and there were these empty spaces, I can still move through them as if there was an actual space there. So I could move and move again if I had actions to do that. I can actually swap with it as well. So I'm moving an empty space for that. So you can still interact if you have actions left on your turn as if a card was there. You could even rotate it. I don't recommend that because it does nothing. But yeah, that's how that works. Okay, I'm now going to refill the mine from my perspective. I'm kind of playing upside down so it makes more sense for everyone watching. So I'll flip this card, this card, this card, this card, and this card. All right, so we're getting close to this first event. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm pretty far from my cart, which isn't great, but it's the Goblin's turn now. So the Goblin's going to be able to do the equal ability because it is on a card with all 3 resource types. Is it on gems? Yes, it is on gems. So what it's saying is swap to the right. So it's going to swap this card with the card to the right of it. And then it's going to move that way as well. To the left. It's right for me. Again, I'm playing upside down, so I apologize for that. All right, now it's my turn. I'm not sure what to do because there's not much going on over here. This Goblin is kind of, man, look at this. That's a nice little path there. Maybe I can try and connect into it somehow. If the goblin doesn't eat it, which would be really cool. And I don't know, though. It's going to take a lot to get there. I don't know. I think that's a bad play, actually. Let's move and then swap. And then let's actually use our reveal ability. When we reveal, we can set the card any way we want. It's a campfire card. Oh, I am liking this a lot because we can move that there, and this changed the whole thing, which would be a huge pickup potentially of coal. But we got to see what the goblin does and what this event is. I have a feeling the event's going to screw up the board. There's no sign for me to read. The cart moves. There's nothing to refill. And now we will flip over the card and do it. What it's saying is Sinkhole. So shuffle the 4 cards together, then replace in the mine. So this corner of the map, which again we're playing from your perspective, so it's here, is all going to get taken away. So that just ruined my entire master plan that I had going, which is, you know, kind of unfortunate because I liked my master plan, but yeah, that's obviously not going to happen anymore. That's quite the bummer. Okay, and we'll get rid of that. Okay, and now it is the goblin's turn after all of that. So, let's flip over the card. Is the goblin on gems? No, it is not. So what is it going to do? It's going to rotate this card. And it's going to move to my right, your left. So it would have messed up my master plan anyways. So cool. Thanks, game, for being really difficult and kicking my butt. I'm not in love with my options here. I'm going to do a swap like that. I'm going to move here for my second action, and then I'm going to collect, and I'm just going to collect 1, because again, remember, you don't have to be anywhere near your cart to collect or load. So I loaded it. I am on a sign. I can read my sign, swap to adjacents. I don't really want to do that, so I'm just going to stay where I'm at. Their cart will move. I will refill the mine, and now it is the goblin's turn. Is the goblin on gems? Yes, it is. So what does that mean? It means it's going to swap cards with the one above it, and it is also going to move up, which it can't because it is at the very top of the map. But it was able to do 1 ability, so it will stay as is. I'm going to move this here now because my cart is progressing that way, and it's kind of in the way. All right, I'm going to try and swap these 2. Boom, boom. And I really wish this wasn't a piece with a nub. So 3 is not bad. So I'm going to, I did 1 ability swap, 2nd ability move, 3rd ability move again. And you're like, man, you've got some uneventful turns. But I got big ideas for this area. I got moves. I'm playing in advance here. We'll see what happens, though. All right, no sign for me to read. The cart's going to move forward. I will then not refill the mine. There's nothing to refill. And it's the goblin's turn. Is the goblin on coal? Yes, it is. So it's going to move down, and then all coal pieces, the magnet is saying, are going to face it, which is a little bit of a bummer because I want it to use that card. And yeah, the goblin has foiled my plans again. This guy is becoming a real jerk. All right, so it's my turn. So my awesome move that I was going to do is called rotate, move, move. Doesn't seem great, right? But I'm going to read the sign. I get the free load action, and 1 can be wild. So coal, gold, coal. That's a 3 resource pickup for me. Not the greatest, not the worst. You know, I'm still happy to have it, though. I will then refill the mine. Oh, sorry, we won't refill the mine. That was all my actions. The cart is going to move, and then I will refill the mine. All right. So it is now the goblin's turn, and the goblin is going to. Is it on gold? It is not. The Goblin is going to rotate this card and move down. So the Goblin's getting into trouble, doing all kinds of things. He did take this 1 point away from me. Would have got 4 cards there, which would have been nice. It's now my turn again. I'm looking at this. What can I do here? Oh, I kind of have an idea. No. Oh, okay. I got an idea. Hear me out. Obviously load, right? There's 3. I lined that up before, so that's 1 action. Definitely do that. There's going to be an event that messes everything up soon too, so that's not awesome. So 1 action was to load. 1 action to move here, 2. And then I'm going to use my swap location adjacent to cart. So flip that. Now this cart is going, the card will go here, and I'll flip the empty one there. And now when my cart turns, I got something going on. I have 1 last ability, so I'm just going to move here into the void. There's no sign for me to read, and the cart is going to go around this corner right now. Let me pull all this up so we can see the board a little better now that we're on this other side. This will trigger at the end. So let's refill the mine first. And now let's see what this card is. Rock Slide. Shuffle the tiles, columns. So this whole row here, we're going to shuffle the tile column, then replace in the mine. So we'll shuffle these 4. I guess I'll do it upside down, right? Shuffle these 4, and then let's put them back. Boom, 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 boom. I'm actually quite okay with how things just panned out, I guess. All right, it's the Goblin's turn. I can't forget that. The Goblin, our friend. Not really our friend, but okay. Is it on coal? Yes, it is. So what it's saying is it's going to move towards the gnome to my left, your right. With those, the arrow being circled like that is saying if you moved in the direction of the gnome, move a second time, which it did. So that kind of sucks. And now it's going to turn all cards that are coal into its direction, which really screws me up because this card is now facing that, and I wanted the gold to face that way. There's no coal here. There is coal here. So now this card is facing that way. There's no coal there. And again, the Goblin has foiled my plans. And not only that, I'm very dangerously close to the Goblin. One thing I forgot to mention about the Goblin, if it ever goes onto the same space you are, it eats you and you die and lose the game right away. It's a good idea not to be near the Goblin because he's kind of a jerk face. So I'm going to collect because I can still get 2. I'm not going to be able to do the kind of power moves I thought I was going to get to do, which is a bummer. I have 2 more actions. I'm actually going to move here, and then I'm going to move here again, and that's my actions. I'm going to read the sign to move 2. I'm going to move here, and I'm going to move, well, I'm getting really far from where my cart is. It's not like ideal. No, it's fine. And I'm going to move here. I got to get away from the Goblin, and I can still collect some things. So the cart's going to move. We're going to refill the mine. Hey, a campfire. I like that. All right, and now it's the Goblin's turn. Let's flip that over. Is it on gold? It is. So it's saying equals all gold cards will face it. This dang Goblin, man. Keeps messing up everything I'm doing. I was going to collect 2 gold there. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I can get far away from it. The Goblin won't mess me up too bad. Wrong, said the Goblin. Man. All right, so, I'm going to swap these 2. And I move here. And then I'm just going to load 1 because there's a gem nub there for my 3rd action. I guess my 3rd action could have been just to load with a wild, but that's fine. I wanted to end my turn here. So, yeah. We read the sign, the cart will move, and we refill the mine. Now the goblin goes. Is it on gems? It is not. So it's going to rotate this card, and then it's going to move up. This is really bad because these nubs, there's nothing going on for them. So yeah, that's not ideal. I'm going to move here, and I'm going to rotate this, and I'm going to swap these two. I'm hoping I can chain this together and jump back on the wild load, and I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. No sign to read. The cart will move. Did I move the cart? I don't think I did. Cart moves. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. We're getting close to another event. That might mess up everything I've had in the works anyways. I still do have my one action card, bonus card, but I haven't used it. And now it's the Goblin's turn. Is it on gold? It is. So what this is saying, it's going to eat the longest resource path, which is gold, in fact. So anything that connects to this gold is going to get eaten. So you get eaten, you get eaten, you get eaten. He has foiled my plans again, this pesky goblin. And then it's going to move up one space. Okay, my turn. Did I move that? No, I think I'm right. Okay, so I'm going to move here. I'm going to use my ability to reveal. I'm going to reveal this. And again, I can face it any way I want when I'm revealing a card. That was my second action. I'm going to move here for 2, my third action. Then I'm going to read the sign for phase 2. I'm going to move here because I'm going to rotate that son of a gun just to collect 1 on my next turn. Well, this is going to screw everything up. I already know. Right, and there's nothing to refill. The cart will move, nothing to refill, and now the event. Another rock slide, so this whole row, shuffle, and then replace. We'll replace. This was like that. This was like that. And then this was like that. Because the goblin did, those were 8, so I will just flip them back to how it was for that rock slide transition there. Not the worst thing that could happen. I can still get 3 at least, which isn't awful. Ooh, I got an idea. How about this? Rotate, collect 1. So that was a rotate and a collect. Move here, read the sign, move 2, boom, boom. Cart moves, refill mine. Now Goblin's turn. Okay, this might be able to use this load and do some good stuff. Man, oh man. Right. Okay, Goblin's turn. Flip. Is it on gold? Yes, it is. It's going to eat the longest path, which is going to be these gems, because there's 2. So we'll eat and eat. And then it's, oh, you know what? So I'm going to move down 1, because they would move closer to the gnome. Okay, I'm going to reveal this. So 1 was revealed, right? Swap for 2. Rotate for 3. Play my 2 actions, bonus actions. Swap again. And I have 1 extra action, which I will forfeit because I don't want to lose the load 1 with wild. So we will use the load 1 with wild. So it's wild, gold, 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 gold. It's a nice pickup. I'm happy with it. Nice fiber. The highest pickup I've ever seen was 7. And that was on a much bigger map. All right, so we load it. We read the sign. We refill the mine. It's a campfire. Okay. Get rid of that. These are getting all moving around. Sorry about that. These are done, so I'll just move them away from the board so we know that they're done. And yeah, so it's the Goblin's turn. Is it on gold? It's not. So default, it's going to move to the right for you, the left for me. And it's getting dangerously close, and I'm getting close to the end of the game. Oh, I forgot to move my cart. So let's do that. Yeah, I definitely forgot to do that. And now it's my turn to get there. Move, move. I don't want to go there because there's a chance it could get me if I do. I'm just going to move here again, play it safe. Rotate to adjacent. No, not going to do it. Cart moves. Nothing to refill. Man, this is a bummer of a turn. And the Goblin's turn. Is it on coal? It is not. So it's going to rotate this and move down. And I'm happy to see that because I know I can successfully survive and get out of this. So for my last turn, I'm going to move. Oh. I was going to like move, rotate, and get two. If I get down there with two moves, I can't even do it. So move, rotate. I might as well just collect the one for the gem. So my final turn, all I get is one. This goes around. So I'm done. The Goblin will have its final turn. Is it on gems? It is. It can't actually do either of these abilities, so it's just going to default to this, which says all gems face it, which is that one. And now the game is over. And yeah, what I'll do is I'll count up my cards, and if I had enough cards, basically I would have beaten the Goblin in the environment in this solo mode. So let's count out our cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So that was the solo play of Mind Your Business, the second difficulty level. There is one above that and one below it. We did actually lose. The win condition was 30 cards, and we did not reach that, so that's unfortunate. And I really hope you enjoyed the gameplay. If you have any questions, leave a comment, send me a message. Happy to answer any of them. The last thing I'd like to leave you with is that Mind Your Business has 2 boxes. Each is playable for 1 to 2 player count. If you have both, you can combine them next to each other. They make one collective image for the covers. And you can also combine the components to play 3 to 4 player game. And then there's an icon on the sets of cards so you can easily separate them again as well. Again, I know I made this for solo gaming, but I just want to put that out there in case you want to play with some of your friends. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Again, send me any comments or questions you have. Mind Your Business is launching on September 26th of this month. We'd love your support. And the link for the pre-launch page on Kickstarter is in the description. Would love for you to click that notify me on launch button. Thanks so much. Bye, everyone.